What's up, magic makers? Drew here. Now, as you can probably tell from the acoustics and definitely by the environment, I am not in my studio where I normally film. At the moment, it is a hot mess, so I'm out here in the kitchen. So forgive if my dogs start acting up. Today, I want to talk about witchy housework. Now, full disclosure, my witchy housework didn't start out as witchy housework. Honestly, when we first moved into the house, it always smelled like the purple pine sol. Like, I was not satisfied if my whole house didn't smell like that purple pine sol, because to me it smelled really clean. And I've mentioned before, I grew up in a house that was anything but. But over time, I fell out of favor with the chemicals, really. I wanted to be able to clean my home and to not feel like I was constantly breathing in chemicals, and I wanted my family and my pets to not have to be exposed to these chemicals. So I started doing some research and I came up with some alternatives, and this is what I came up with. But it wasn't long after I started working with all of this that I realized they all had magical properties. So if I just put some intent into what I was doing, I could use the magical properties while cleansing my home. So I'm just going to go into what I do, but please feel free to let your imagination go wild if you like the idea, and come up with your own concoctions, your own magical cleansing products, and run wild. So the first thing for me is this bottle, which it's almost empty. I need to make more. But what I do is I fill it up to about right here with water. And then I take tea tree oil and lavender oil. And I use a little bit more lavender oil than tea tree because it smells better. And yeah, I don't know, 12 to 15 drops, at least 20 drops. So until I like the way it smells. So the lavender has healing properties and properties of purification, and of course it smells really good. And the tea tree has cleansing, antiviral, and antifungal properties. Now, of course, the antiviral and antifungal aren't really witchy properties, but they're just along with the magical property of tea tree, which is the cleansing property. I like those two as well for a more mundane, realistic, earthly property in my cleaning supply. And I use this everywhere. I use it in my kitchen, I use it in the bathrooms, anywhere. I use it on the floors, anywhere that needs to be cleansed, and it works beautifully. Next is my clove oil water. Again, fill it with water and then add clove oil. Now, a little bit of this goes a long way, so I don't even know how many drops, but just until I can smell it and I'm done. Clove drives away hostile and disharmonious energies and influences. It produces spiritual vibrations. I take that to mean that vibrationally it helps align us spiritually and our environment spiritually, and carries a sort of mindfulness and awareness, what have you. It creates that environment for us. It's purifying. It purifies whatever you're cleansing with it. And it is also antifungal, antiviral, and antiseptic. Now, I don't use this everywhere. The reason I originally started using it was in our bathroom there was moisture gathering on the windowsill and mildew appeared. And so I was looking for ways to cleanse that, and clove oil will kill it. Now, you'll have to go over it with bleach to remove it so you can't see it, but the clove oil will kill it. So I use this clove oil on my shower liner every time I clean the baths and the showers, to keep mildew from building up there, to kill mildew mold spores. And I also use it on my toilet brush. Every time I'm done cleaning the toilet, I spray it on the toilet brush. Now, Clove can also be used to attract money, so there could be this mindset that when I clean the toilet the next time, clove oil is getting into there and being flushed down the toilet. But I thought of that, and honestly, it doesn't bother me because I feel like magic is a fluid thing, and to me, magic is alive. It lives. So I have not been one person who thinks one way, works one way, lives one way my entire life. I grow, I change, I evolve. I feel the same way about magic. So I love to think outside the box when it comes to magic and try to do things in a different way. So for me, the clove oil getting into the toilet and being flushed down is not my prosperity being flushed down the toilet. It is actually movement being created for my prosperity. You need movement to continue to be prosperous. It has to come in and go out. So that's the way I look at that. A little side note, taking you off in left field, but just in case anybody thought like I did, ooh, that's prosperity going down the drain. It doesn't have to be. Next is this, and it's just vinegar, pure vinegar. And vinegar is great for protection. It has been used for hundreds of, I don't even know how long. A very long time, particularly in like hoodoo and stuff like that. Vinegar is great for protection. And it also is a antimicrobial and a disinfectant. I only use this mainly in my showers and tubs and in my toilets, but if I have another area where I feel like I really need it, I use it in there. And the way I do, I'll tell you, I'll lay out how I do my toilet, and my toilets are spotless. I've almost the entire time we've lived in the house. So I think for 5 years, I have cleaned my toilets with only vinegar and baking soda, and they're beautiful. So next is baking soda. Baking soda is cleansing. It's good for absorbing things, energies, what have you. And it's a mild abrasive, so that's more the mundane thing. But so I sprinkle some baking soda in the toilet or in the tub, on the shower walls, and then spray the vinegar on top of that. And if you've ever seen a grade school science fair volcano, you know that when you add vinegar and baking soda together, there's a chemical reaction. That's why the volcano erupts. It's just baking soda and vinegar leaking out of the volcano. But that happens in the tub and in the toilet. There's this chemical reaction, and then you have that mild abrasive, and it's a really good method of cleansing. Now, of course, there are a million different essential oils, and you can sit and figure out what fragrances you like and what properties they have, both on a mundane and a magical level, and come up with your own cleaning supplies. But again, my first motivation was environmental. I wanted it to be safer and better for myself and my loved ones and the planet. Stop using all those chemicals. And then it dawned on me that they all had magical properties. So I looked into that and put that intent into it as well. So I just wanted to share. It's something that we don't necessarily think of, but I personally, again, feel good about the environmental aspect of it, but feel really good about the magic. Like, how witchy is that? Doing magically cleaning your home. So, yeah, I don't know. If you're into it, I highly recommend it. There's no reason really not to. As I've mentioned many times, it's better for the environment and your loved ones. It's witchy. And also, it is far less expensive to clean this way. I save so much money on cleansing, yes, this bottle of tea tree costs more than a bottle of cleanser, but I'm only using 12 drops. One bottle of essential oil will last you a very long time. And I buy cheap baking soda and cheap vinegar at Dollar General. I do recommend using these sort of industrial bottles. This has been fine for my clove oil, but because you will be using, I use this bottle all the time, this tea tree bottle. Maybe not so much the vinegar, but this, every single day, multiple times a day, I use this cleanser. And these bottles are more substantial. I have used cheaper bottles and they just break. The trigger breaks, the spring mechanism inside stops working, what have you. It gets corroded. I don't know. I've had these bottles for years and they've been fine. I don't have a problem. I get these at Lowe's Hardware, but I'm sure you can get similar bottles at any kind of hardware store. I think that's it, guys. I'm not preaching. I don't. How you clean your house is how you clean your house. I'm just trying to share because I think it's wonderful. So if you're into it, check it out. And until next time, much love and gratitude.